Scenario 1, the Arab Spring model. This was the original plan in Washington and Jerusalem. The idea was simple: kill the supreme leader and the regime falls apart. Without Khamenei, the different factions would turn on each other. The Iranian people, who had protested against the regime many times before, would finally rise up. They would take to the streets, seize government buildings, and declare a new republic. Organized opposition groups, especially those who want to bring back the monarchy, would step in and take power. The United States and Israel would support them from the air without ever sending in ground troops. But this did not happen. The regime did not collapse. Within hours of Khamenei's death, an interim council took control. The military launched a massive retaliation right away, showing they were still organized and capable. And the Iranian people did not rise up against the regime. Instead, they rallied against the foreign attack. When a strike hit a girls' school in Minab and killed 148 people, the anger turned outward toward America and Israel, not inward toward their own leaders. External aggression created national unity, not revolution. This scenario is dead. It was based on wishful thinking, not reality. Scenario 2, the Venezuela model. When the first plan failed, strategists looked for another way. They thought, maybe we can bomb them so hard they have no choice but to surrender. This worked in Yugoslavia in 1999 when NATO bombed for 78 days and forced Milosevic to withdraw from Kosovo. And it worked more recently in Venezuela. In January 2026, U.S. Special Forces launched a surprise raid on Caracas, captured President Nicolás Maduro, and flew him to New York to face trial on drug charges. The United States then threw its support behind Delcy Rodriguez, Maduro's former vice president, who became interim president. The old regime stayed largely intact, but now it answers to Washington, opening its oil sector to U.S. companies and changing its laws to allow foreign investment. The idea was simple: keep bombing, destroy their economy, make life so miserable that the new leaders in Tehran come to the table begging for mercy. They would agree to stop their nuclear program, stop supporting groups like Hamas and Hezbollah, and accept international inspectors. The regime would survive but weakened, and President Trump could declare victory, but this did not happen either. The Iranians did not surrender. They escalated. They launched missiles at American bases in Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates. They hit oil tankers near Oman. They opened new fronts. The new leaders in Tehran are not looking for a way out. They are looking to avenge Khamenei and prove they are strong. Any leader who tried to negotiate right now would be killed by his own people. And the Iranian public, angry at the foreign attacks, would see surrender as betrayal. This scenario is also dead. The window for negotiation closed the moment the first Iranian missile was fired in retaliation. Scenario 3, the Afghan model. This is the plan that is actually happening right now. It is based on what worked in Afghanistan in 2001. Back then, the United States did not invade with a huge army. Instead, they worked with local fighters on the ground, the Northern Alliance. Small teams of American special forces and CIA operatives joined them, calling in precision airstrikes that destroyed the Taliban. The local fighters did the rest. Now the United States is trying the same thing in Iran. The local fighters this time are Kurdish opposition groups. They have thousands of fighters based in the mountains along the Iraq-Iran border. They have been fighting the Iranian regime for decades. President Trump has already spoken directly with their leaders. American and Israeli airstrikes are hitting Iranian military positions along the border, preparing the ground. A Kurdish official told CNN, "We believe we have a big chance now, but this plan faces huge problems. First, Turkey. This is an existential issue for them. The Kurdish groups in Iran include PJAK, which is linked to the PKK, a group Turkey considers a terrorist organization. President Erdogan has made it clear, wherever there is a threat, we will eliminate them at the source without seeking permission from anyone. If Kurdish forces start winning in Iran, Turkey will likely attack them, not to help America, but to destroy them before they become a permanent threat on Turkey's border. Second, the Iraqi Shia militias. These are tens of thousands of fighters loyal to Iran. If Kurdish forces seize territory in western Iran, these militias will likely storm into Iraqi Kurdistan to stop them. American airstrikes cannot stop that many fighters on the ground. Third, the IRGC is ready. Russia has supplied them with sophisticated helicopters and counterinsurgency weapons. They have been fighting Kurdish rebels for decades. They know the terrain. Fourth, the jihadists. Groups linked to Al-Qaeda and ISIS have cells in the region. They will use the chaos for their own purposes, and they are not on America's side. Fifth, the Kurds themselves are divided. Different groups have different leaders and different goals. Keeping them united will be very hard. This scenario is happening now, but it is a high-risk gamble. If it works, it could weaken the regime. If it fails, it could trigger a much wider war. Scenario 4, the Houthi model. This is the most likely outcome. It is based on what happened with the Houthi in Yemen. For months, the Houthis attacked ships in the Red Sea. The United States bombed them, and in the end, the United States walked away. The Houthis never stopped attacking Israel, they just adjusted. And the US accepted it because the alternative was an endless, costly war. Iran is now trying the same strategy. They cannot defeat the United States in a conventional war, but they can make the war so painful, so expensive, and so economically damaging that America looks for a way out. And they can offer Trump just enough to let him declare victory and go home. The White House is already signaling they want this. Senior officials have said Washington could move quickly to reach a diplomatic agreement with Iran if a new government emerges in Tehran. The terms would be: Iran stops its nuclear program, stops threatening its neighbors, and stops supporting proxy groups. In exchange, sanctions are lifted and the bombing stops. The Houthis are ready to help with the pressure. They are watching and waiting. If they restart their attacks on Red Sea shipping, global trade suffers. Maersk has already suspended shipments through the Red Sea just because of the threat. The Houthis don't even need to fire a missile to create economic pain. So here is how it would work. Iran offers a new leader, someone who can be presented to the world as a moderate, even if he protects Iran's core interests. They promise to pause their nuclear program but not necessarily end it forever. They promise to be responsible in the region. In exchange, America stops bombing and lifts sanctions. Trump gets to say he made Iran come to the table. He gets his victory.